In this lesson, we're going to learn how to create the upper half of our controller. As you can see, we already have a lower half, and we're going to create the upper half in about the same way. So like last time, first thing we want to do, open up a sketch on the right plane, and we're going to use a style spline again. So again, just click a few points. Zoom up here. You can move these points around. So this is kind of up to you how you want this to look. We're just going to pierce these points like we did last time. And remember, since this is where the parting line is going to be, these edges can't be too steep. Even though there should be some draft associated with them, we don't want to make it so that they're too sharp. So this is also dictating the actual thickness of the controller body, which I don't have any dimensions for, which for this case I don't think is necessary, but we can get something pretty close to what looks good. So I like that. So like last time, we can throw some draft dimensions on here. Make sure the lines are tangent. That's vertical. Let's make this. Let's see what it comes out to. Should make this 10 degrees. We can do the same thing for the other side. Make sure it's being drafted outwards. Make these tangent. You can see if you didn't want to make a tangent, you can still make it collinear. It's the same idea, since you have this line to control the spline instead of just the spline itself. So that's okay. We can make this 3. That looks pretty good. Close out of the sketch. Okay, so now, like last time, we have our first profile, and now we need our second profile. So because we already have a plane established, we can work from that. Let's show the plane. And we can start our next style spline on that plane. So let's pierce the point to the line. Some cases it won't let you, and to be honest, I don't really know why, but it let me actually make that coincidence, so that's okay. As long as it turns black and it's connected, you're good. So let's move these points around to get something that looks pretty nice. So this is the part that your hand's going to be when you control the game. You're holding the controller. So that looks pretty good. We can actually throw some dimensions down here as well to control how we think the draft is going to be. And it's always good to have more than not enough. So that's too much. Let's try 6. Okay. Do the same thing to the other side. Let's try 6 over here. And again, this is really just a mock-up demonstration. If you really want to get something perfectly drafted, there are other ways, but this is a much quicker method if you're trying to get something for ergonomics done quickly. Okay, so now that we have both our profiles, let's create the guide curves again. So when you create features like lofts and other things like that, those guide curves can become absorbed, and SOLIDWORKS will not let you reuse them. In some cases it will. But for the sake of this demonstration, we're going to keep recreating them. So we have a 3D sketch going. Let's select these lines again. Delete the ones we don't need. And I have to make each sketch for these things separately, because if I make both on the same sketch, when we go to do the surface, it's not going to think of them as separate lines. It'll see them as one sketch, and the surface will not come out properly. So that's why we have to do them separate. So this will be the last one. And that's it. Great, so now we can do our boundary surface again. So like last time, we're going to choose this point here and this point here. Gives us a nice surface already. So let's choose our 3D sketches from the tree as our guide curves for direction 2. And one thing to note that's pretty critical is you can already see this curve looks good, but it's going up at an angle. And you can see that's how it is on the bottom too. So in order to make these nice and flush with each other when we mirror this, we have to make sure that this edge is seen as tangent. So you can see it says none right now. So what we're going to do is click this, do normal to profile. That's going to make sure that the surface is actually going to come straight off the profile. Now if it doesn't see it, you can do direction to vector. And in this box here, choose the right plane. The rest of these look pretty good. We're going to hit the check. It's a good start. Well, now that we're at it, we can actually go back and we can fix this other one. Which is fairly simple. We can right-click on the boundary surface. Where it says none, we're going to say direction to vector and choose the right plane. So you may have to tweak around with this a little bit. You can see it's not exactly perfect. There's a little bulge here. And that's the thing about surfacing, is that you can really play with how these surfaces work to get something that looks really good. So that's it for now. So for the next section of this tutorial, we're going to talk about actually completing this shape with more surface lofts.